Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the Tartan Stand for another European review. As you can see here, we have two happy fans. One down the right-hand corner, a wee bit of a downer mood, and sadly, he'll need to talk us through it. But listen, Scottish coefficient is kind of in safe hands, but yeah, we will dive right into it. We will go to the earliest game, Josh, and that will obviously be you. Before we dive into the actual game, we will talk about the team lineup because he kind of did change it. He brought in Altena, Kingsley, and Gwendouzi, is that how you pronounce his name?
Aye,
Were you
aye.
happy that he brought those players in and changed it a wee bit?
Aye, 100%. I think Altena had a good game considering no one else really did. Kingsley also had a good game, but obviously got injured. I mean, that's the worst thing that could have happened. And I think Gwendouzi, he had a solid game. I think he deserves to be in the position that he's in, and he looks very comfortable on the ball, but he never really did much with it. And I think that's something that Walter could work on because I feel like he's playing way too central. I saw him down the middle way too many times, and I know that's kind of how Walter wants to play. He wants to keep them inside and have our wing backs pushing up forward, which will work. But I feel like when Gwendouzi could be used wider, I think he should be where Kizzy is or on the other side. I would also like to see Miller where Kizarides is because I think he's better. I think he's much better, and I'd like to see McPake on as well. But the lineup wasn't too bad. Finlay being off as well, I was surprised about that. I'm glad he came on, but obviously he had to come on over an injury, which was the worst thing that could have happened. But disappointing, but not. I'm not going to be too upset about it.
You did kind of take my next question off you because obviously Calvin Miller had a terrific season at Falkirk over on that left hand side, and kind of you haven't really seen the best of him because he's been put out on the right. You did
Yeah.
speak about Stuart Finlay. Obviously, did come on when Kingsley did get injured, who did have a decent game. He's scared. Like, is he coming over that injury himself, or are you scared that the manager just actually kind of rate Finlay?
I think I don't know. I know he was injured last season at some points. He might not be fully fit. Walter might not rate him. I don't know, but I know the whole Hearts fan base rate him. Last year he won all his aerials. He scored goals. He deserves to be in that lineup, and he's also got experience in the SBL. So it's a no-brainer to have him on the pitch. But now that Walcott is apparently injured, I think I've just seen that a few hours ago, seeing that he's in crutches apparently. He'll probably start from now on, I can imagine. But I was surprised to not see him in the lineup.
Darren, we will go for you because we're talking about the centre back position. Obviously, Jason Kerr finally came in from the start. I don't
Yeah.
know if he actually changed it. I've seen a few reports that it was still a five at back, but then I've seen a few reports that it was a 4-3-3. But if David Gray did change it, it did look like it worked. The pressing was well. It was all Hibs, albeit some people might say it is against a team, but we need to give them credit when it's due. If, if it was a change of system, does David Gray deserve a huge prop for that, or is it he should have did that from the start?
Well, he had to. Obviously, we needed a win by 3 goals. He had to change something. We had to probably go with a more attacking formation. He went with 3 pretty much strikers, Boyle, Weldon, and Lowe. So he had to fit that into a system. So that's probably why he changed. So he can put all 3 of them in. I mean, you can see their tactics right from the very start was going to be time waste as much as possible. Then that kind of tactic went out the window with really early doors, which was good for us because the longer that game went on, them playing the games could have really frustrated the game. I was glad to see Jason Kerr come in. That's what I said last week over Hanley. I mean, he never really had much to do, to be fair. There was a few attacks from them. So I don't think you can tell much from that game about anybody's performance. I mean, don't get me wrong, we played well, but they turned up to show that they were like the farmer outfit that we all thought the where, which should have happened in the first leg. And I mean, that might come back to the first leg again. Was it that, like, obviously they were slipping all over the place? Was it the pitch? Was it, I don't know. I don't know what was wrong. I was a bit scared coming into this game because of all the talk prior to it. Like, it was this, we are well prepared. We are like, and like, it was, they were so determined and so absolutely confident. I was like, this would just be the most Hibs thing ever to like go and fuck this up after saying all that in the press. But to be fair, the seen the task through. So
Well, like you said, it's a team posture of bet. You can't really tell much upon, but as a game that's going to give massive confidence into the players going into Sunday, might give David Gray a few times in his head. We were speaking about a player. I think it was in the preview. Chalobah. I thought he was outstanding. He was going into the tackles, winning the balls again. Maybe that's because the team was basically playing some mind games, trying to time waste, trying to be annoying, trying to get players sent off. But it was a good overcome from Hibs, and obviously we definitely didn't need it. Or we'd be getting that Hibs label all night. But Kyle, I want to talk about Mull because they look like they're starting to go on again like they did last season. It was a brilliant game, and again, I've said it in my TikTok. A lot of people thought it's a Faroe Island team, but you seen what Rolly Hampton was calling out. They held an Israel team, they held Bromby. Their home record in Europe was phenomenal, and Mull kind of went over there and just ran the show, winning by 3 goals to 0. Was the second leg performance much better than the first?
Yeah, definitely. Like, one thing from both games is we went out right for the start with just sheer positivity. Like, I was listening to Alfred's post-match interview, and he was saying both legs, all I asked was them to play with a smile on their face. And as you can clearly see, we didn't really have any worries through either legs. There was we stints where you were questioning if we were actually going to concede, but over the course of the full 180 minutes, we were completely sound, even with a predominantly new team going into it. Like, honestly, like, it's actually mind-boggling.
Like, I know I want to be full on positive, but I need to play a wee bit of devil's advocate. Like, I guess it really is nothing but to like balance it out. Is the only worry was like maybe Fadinger being a wee bit sleepy sometimes with, I think the only chances they actually had was just him trying to play a through ball. I don't know if he was bored or what, maybe, but is that the kind of worry that sometimes like the team shape isn't up to scratch with some of the players and they don't really know where the players are at?
Aye, like, obviously that was the exact same with the start of the Jens era. Like, obviously with a new squad at the start of last season, like, folk weren't really used to the way they were. Well, what Jens was trying to play, and it's the exact same with Alfred. But the thing is with Fadinger, like, I didn't realise this until like midway through last season. He was the only one of the midfielders that you noticed when he's not playing. Like, I get all the talk for like Elliot Watt and like Slattery, but out of the three in the midfield, Fadinger was literally the goal that helped us all together. Like, he's genuinely a different class. But there was a wee stint last night that was kind of questioning him, but we'll go by that.
There was also a player that impressed me in the wide area as well, albeit he probably could have had a hat trick, albeit his second chance was probably a wee bit harder than the first, and that was freaking Charles Cook. He hit the second goal, I think it was him that scored. It was beautiful past the player, but is that a player that can maybe step up to Mull and actually be a first team starter?
I'd agree. He didn't have a good last season, but I feel like if he actually gets a good run of games this season, he can honestly go well, because you seen it last night. He was getting in the right positions, he just couldn't finish. And I think that's something he maybe could work on personally. But it's honest, I've got high hopes with Cookie.
Mull played well when you can tolerate, Michael Stewart. That's it's a good game of fit, but that's the only good thing. But I want to go back to you, Josh. Obviously, we all kind of speak about, the Benfica tie as a glamour tie, but let's be honest, it could potentially be an even worse squad than they obviously won 5-0 last night, but St. Gallen was down to 10 men. But what's your feeling going into that game?
We're making history. we're gonna make history. We're gonna beat Benfica, and you'll come back to this and you'll be like, "Wow." I don't know. I think it could be worse. It could not be worse. But we just need to take what comes at us. We just need to go into this like any other game and hopefully come out with something. Even if it's close, we can come out with our own dignity. You know what I mean? And it's going to be tough, but if we win, it's going to be history. And if we win, it'll be spoke about for a long time coming. Something I don't want is us to get absolutely pumped. That's the last thing. You know, say if it's, I don't know, it could be upwards of 7-8-0 with the way that we've been. But at the same time, looking at the games against Graz, we had what, 16, 17 corners, 25 plus shots, 0 goals. That's something that we just need to work on. If we can just work on our finishing, this won't be a problem. I know Benfica is Benfica. You know, I think it's quite unfortunate that we've been handed them in the Europa League, not even a playoff, it's a qualifying round. But we just need to look at the positives and not think about how big a club they are.
I was going to say that, like, how hard, but how mental is it, like, for Scottish teams just now to get through these qualifiers? Like, I mean, like, you take, obviously, Hibs last year, the clubs that we got in all 3 games,
Aye.
then you've got Hearts drawn Benfica in a second qualifying round. And I think it's obviously how these competitions are built, where you've got, like, this main path and this champions path. So, like, if you're a champion in, I don't know, like, Faroe Islands or whatever, you go into this champions playoff and you're playing other teams for like absolute Mickey Mouse countries, yeah, and all the rest are put into this main path. And I mean, I think obviously I was looking at the seeding for the next round if we get through, and some of the clubs, even in the Conference League, is horrendous.
I actually seen a
You've got
stat. I don't know how
Ajax and
true it is. Every team in the who's seeded in the Conference League has been a part of this Champions League somewhat between now and then 3 years ago. So that is absolutely mental. I think one of the weakest teams in there is RB Salzburg, and we all know that they can literally. They don't get me wrong, this was what 7 years ago, but they destroyed Celtic. I was at that game. It was like
Aye.
men against boys. So if that's one of the weakest
Yeah.
teams, then
Getafe are unseeded. Like that shows you how strong the seeded sides are when one of the top Spanish teams are unseeded.
well, we
Mad.
will go to
It's
you
mad.
because I think Hibs do have the easier path if you want to say that. They've got a North Macedonian team in Shikaja. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Great chance.
I did look at the recent results from last season. I would probably say that like a St Mirren by going off their stats and like their standards, etc. So it's a game that Hibs, if you go into it, I'm not going to say should, but probably will be winning. What's your thoughts on that?
We've got a good chance. It's probably one of the better draws, right? But I mean, I was having a wee look at them last year as well. They were in the conference. They actually qualified to the playoff. So again, above both our teams that was in the Conference League last year. Some pretty decent results. I mean, don't get me wrong, they probably had the luck of the draw. There wasn't any massive sides that were playing there, but I think they finished 22nd in that group of 30 odds or whatever and qualified for the playoffs. So they're an experienced European side. I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of them. I hadn't paid any attention to them, but it's kind of going to go to show that I don't think there's any easy games in Europe nowadays. So it's definitely one of the better ties we could have hoped for. We've got a chance. We need to get a result next week. If we get a result next week, I think they're probably on par with somebody like maybe Partizan, who we played last year. So we definitely have got a chance, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as this lot we just played last night.
Probably a Conference League over the recent years, if you look at Denmark, Norway, etc., those teams have kind of took advantage of the coefficient points. It's something that Scotland does need to take advantage of, because I think if we do poor again, we actually drop lower and we might only have 2 teams, which again is only going to be Celtic and Rangers unless one of you win a Scottish Cup, which is obviously bad for Scottish football. But Kyle, we do have a trip to Finland, to Helsinki. Again, not like a decade ago, where they're the top team in Finland, I'd probably say they're second or third. I think Hibs has kind of took over the Finnish league. Is this going to be a team that Motherwell can be a real test upon and see where they actually are heading into the season?
Aye, definitely. Like with the brand of football we play, like obviously you can see what we can do to Scottish teams. So it's any ball game when it comes to a European team. The only thing that's worrying me going into this tie is they battered Coleraine by 8 goals on aggregate. So that's putting the fear in me a wee bit. But listen, like anything can happen. Like it's you just need to
Like, hear a worse start. They scored 11 goals in a cup game, like last month. Won 11 once. So.
on the brighter side, the away legs first. I'd much rather that because then we get to see where it all ends up at home. So that's what matters the most.
I actually did see their stats. Like their average, like 2 goals a game, which is absolutely mental. So you're probably going to concede, but Motherwell do have the. It's the only problem with Motherwell is you don't have an out-and-out striker, which you've probably been crying over like a year and a bit. But you do have the players in the wide areas and even the midfield like Fadinga who can hit a ball. They can get me that something else. But I want to speak about Williams, the left back. I thought brought him from Bottom Albion, I think it was. I thought the first 20 minutes they kind of targeted him, but I thought when the game came on, he got a lot better, and obviously the third goal was spectacular. How do you feel about Williams coming into this small team?
Last week I think he got played in the wing, which coming in like he was put down as a left back. He didn't play the best at left wing, but as soon as he actually was playing left back, because he didn't come into replace Ewan Wilson, but Ewan Wilson got dropped and he's went in at left back. It was a lot more sound. Like he was controlling that left hand side, finding balls to Regan Charles Cook, hence the assist that he got for Cookie's second goal. Like and obviously his goal speaks for itself. He's a great player actually. I didn't know much about him, but now watching him for a good few weeks, I've got good hopes on him.
Josh, we'll also go to the heart side of things. Is this like obviously Benfica's going to be a massive test? It's going to be a game that if you do get hammered, then you could be like, it was on the cards, I guess, if you are a neutral or like looking outside in it. It's going to be a real worry if Rankin goes in with his usual 4-2-4. Do you think if he changes it, at least you can see some adaptation? If it isn't, then do you think there's going to be a lot of question marks like this guy's just going to stick to his philosophy? And we know a lot of managers who go down that path could end up getting sacked.
Yeah, I mean, if he does just carry on doing what he's doing with the 4-2-4, then so be it. If he gets sacked, he gets sacked. But I don't know. I think change is always worth it, especially when you're not performing, when you're not picking up results, or at least like with the Graz game, even doing anything at all. I mean, even a consolation goal would have felt somewhat good, but nothing happened. Nothing went our way. And maybe a change does need to happen, especially, well, we'll see this Saturday, we'll see tomorrow against Aberdeen. If he changes anything, then we'll see how that goes. If it goes well, I'd like to see the exact same moving forward. Because I remember what happened last year. Derek basically played the same team, the same lineup, 6, 7 games in a row, and we won basically them all. And he said, "What's the point in changing something that's not broken? But right now something's broken, so we need to fix that and then not change it. Try and keep it consistent because the last thing we want is, we have brought in a lot of players and we are trying to give them game time, but the last thing we want is changing players consistently. Because I remember when we had Neil Critchley, we never had a consistent lineup. Every week was something different, and every week we were getting a different result. There was no consistency at all. So if he does stay the same lineup, I want to see results. If we don't see results, I want to see changes. That's the way I see it.
I feel like he's not really in a winning position because if he does change it on Saturday against Aberdeen and you still see the same signs that the good attack in front on the front foot, but then drop off and potentially just get a draw in the game, people are going to be like that. Oh, he's changed it. Like he doesn't even know what he's doing. What he's like. I feel like he needs a win on Saturday, just not to get pressure because I don't think he will get sacked or any talk of that, but just to help him himself and maybe learn a lot more about himself as a manager for Hearts. But I get it. The midfield for Hearts is just as questionable as up front. Like I hope he doesn't see something. This is a wee bit disrespectful to like just keep starting Blair Spittle. It really does concern me, that midfield. Like I can understand the McEntee just because he's a wee bit defensive. He can hold the line. But Blair Spittle, he had a purple patch. But basically, like that's it. I really don't know because Renaud had a good game pre-season, I guess. But if you have a good game, confidence is going to be up. So is that something you would like to see in the Saturday game, Renaud coming into the starting lineup?
100%. 100%. I think Tom Renaud is fully capable of being in the middle of that pitch, because what we saw from him, even in the friendly against Rayo Vallecano, he was coming through the middle, he was making these splitting runs, he was also coming back, helping in defence, proper grafter. And that's something we've been lacking. Spittle, when he was playing against Graz, was very poor. I think he was playing it too safe, he was getting pressed too quickly, he was slowing at the ball at his feet. And he had those couple of chances where last year he would have scored them, but this year they both went not his way. I mean, one got blocked, one went for three points in a rugby match. So I think I can't see Spittle getting played this weekend. If he does get played this weekend, then questions will be asked 100%. I want to see also Tom Magnuson Bent. I want Bent Magnuson to come on because he was brilliant last year as well. I think he played a big role in last year when Cammy Devlin was injured. He came in, same with Leonard as well. Obviously, he was on loan, but Magnuson came in perfectly. He's strong, he's fast, he can get his head on the ball, and that's something we were lacking as well. We were balls coming in the box and we don't know what to do. But we had players like Kent, Magnuson, Findlay who just got them away for us, and that's something that really needs worked on as well, as our set pieces.
Darren, I want to go back to you. We'll talk about the midfield bit. Josh Mulligan, Celtic is obviously potential losing, Arnie Engels to West Ham. Are you fearful that ex-West Ham target could be ending up as a Celtic target?
Aye, yeah, definitely. I mean, he was excellent. Like you said last night, Chaiwa was brilliant. Mulligan was excellent. That's the two you're wanting in the middle of the park. I mean, you've still got McGrath who could still come in there. That's probably, even the last season, like our midfield was really strong. We had options in midfield. To lose Mulligan would be devastating, to be fair. Hopefully we'll hold on to him. Hopefully the West Ham deal with you guys doesn't go through, because that will be a direct replacement. He's such a young talent, honestly. I mean, he's not far away from a Scotland call. Certainly, if he goes to Celtic, you'll probably see him straight in that Scotland setup. He's an excellent player. I mean, to be fair, you can still see that little bit of inexperience. Obviously, he got that booking last night. It was a bit of a crunching challenge. It probably wasn't a booking, to be fair. It was maybe a wee bit harsh, but we can't lose him. We're building a team around that midfield, so that's, you don't want to start losing them.
I liked Lowe that it's came in from Stoke City. Obviously, I was a wee bit critical in the first leg. I felt like he could have at least got one of the goals, but he did get the third goal. Obviously, Poacher's goal, good cutback, and obviously no one was in the net. But do you think he's going to be a massive success for Hibs on loan this season?
Early signs are saying, yeah. I really liked him as a player. Like, exactly what we were speaking about in the first episode, I think, when we were speaking. We mentioned about what's his name, the big boy, who was the Suto, who was the tracking back in the derby and stuff like that. Here's Lowe, who's the same kind of same size of player, etc. See, last night he was getting dug in. He was back in midfield. It was like he had a bit of grit about him. Every time he was always making himself available in the box. I think he's going to be one of these players that's going to frustrate you because he's going to probably miss 10 sitters, but then score an important goal. You know what I mean? He'll definitely have loads of chances this year. I can see him score 10 plus goals this year at least. And especially up front with Elding. I mean that I just really like that they two up front, and that's where then you start questioning, saying, well, where's Boyle going to fit into our normal kind of 3-5-2?
I thought he had a good game last night, to be fair.
That's probably really good. I mean, to be fair, they made him look like Messi. His goal, it was like dribbling around cones. To be fair, I don't think they moved at that point. But it was a great goal, great finish when he took it. He had a great game. But I suppose you're wanting three options. We said about Gray before, he does try to utilise a squad on a bench quite often. So that's what you're wanting. But I really liked Lowe and Eldon up front last night.
I always like to be positive, but I kind of like to be negative. But I will be positive a wee bit slightly again. I think I was a bit critical of not maybe critical, but I was like, what is the plan forward with Martin Boyle? But I feel like if you do have Eldon and Martin Boyle is a good, success, a good guy to mentor from. But with Lowe, it feels like, if he does get that 10 plus goal season, he's definitely going to be able to Hibs' budget. So it feels like next season you're starting from scratch again. Is that a wee bit of a concern?
Aye, it is a bit of a concern. I mean, you're still. Do you know what's more concerning? That we're sitting with this £1 million Clige, who is yet again come back from a loan spell that just does not look like he fits in this team. I mean, when he came on last night, he runs a bit like a headless chicken at times. He'll throw challenges in. He's this like wee guy throwing challenges in, and that's our next. Like you've got Soto, but Clige, it's concerning that if Lowe goes, we're going to have to replace him, but we're still sitting with this like £1 million record signing that's still not making it in the team. I'd love it if he obviously gets a wee run in the team or gets a few goals. You kind of feel sorry for him. You feel like he deserves goals, but he's just not good enough, kind of thing. So whether Hibs can make money on him, if we got rid of him, which I think there was indications of when we put him out on loan, we kind of couldn't get him sold. If he'd done excellent when he went out on loan, we probably would have tried to demand a fee for him. We maybe could have bought a type of low kind of player. Over this year, I think they'll probably be trying to get rid of him, try and recoup some of the money on him, and that's where you could then maybe get somebody who could replace Lowe next season. But hey, we hate to just enjoy these players like Lowe. If he does do excellent this season, let's just enjoy it while he's here, and we can go back down the road afterwards.
Kyle, obviously, someone came off the bench who's obviously played a massive part last season was Masonisi. Do you think he's going to have another massive impact this season again from Willow?
It all depends on how he starts, because it was the exact same as last season. If he gets off early, he'll just crack on for there. Like, he's one of the players that, like, once he's in a good run of form, like, that won't stop. But then obviously his form did drop off early 2026, and then like it was just, it wasn't the best, but it was like getting moved like all across the front line, and that might have played a tail in it. But no, that's what we do need, like a goal scorer, and obviously he was the league's top goal scorer last year. So if we can just try and crack on for last season, I think we'll be just fine.
There was reports, I don't know how reliable the reports were in January, that Anderlecht was looking at about 2-3 million. See if that offer came back in, would you take it?
Right now, probably not, just because of how squad is. But we still need to have a few more like transfers in. I did get, I think Alfred said that we've got like either one or two before Sunday, but the clock's ticking, and I'm not seeing much getting done.
But to recap this off, we will do the score predictions. And Josh, I'm looking at you. You better stick to your word here. You're hitting it with a gun, saying you'll beat Benfica. So let's hear it. What's your score prediction?
2-1 to Benfica the first leg, and 3-1 to Hearts the second leg. You heard it here first.
I'm going to put a bet on it just in case. Sometimes you need that, man.
And if you win, you better tap me a tenner.
I'll give you a fiver. Come on, I've got a
A
monthly
fiver.
subscription.
I'll take a fiver.
Kyle, we'll go to you because I think you are the early kickoff next week. What's your score prediction in Helsinki?
In Helsinki, I want to be boring and say it'll be a draw, but like I don't want to be like stalemate and say 0-0. I think it'll be like a 1 each or something like that.
If it's not an each, I think it's going to be a massive surprise considering the goal scoring record. Are you going to do a second leg score prediction? Are you going to wait till after the first leg and see what it's like?
I'll give you a score prediction now, and then I'll give you one after it if I get a bit of a reality check. At home, I think obviously we've got much a better chance. I think if the first leg prediction goes well, I think we can scrape a wee win at home, and the morale will be up, going like just into the full league and maybe even into the playoff. So I'll say like wow, I'll say 1-0.
Right, Darren, what's your score prediction in North Macedonia?
Well, we're at home first, so I'll go 2-1.
Shit, so you're right.
2-1 at home. I'll go 1-1 away.
Everyone loves a wee 2-1, man. There's no like a free. Oh well, you actually said free. My bad, actually. But aye, that is a European recap. Thank you for watching. If you're still here at this video, hit that like button. It's very much appreciated, and subscribe. If you're over on Spotify, hit that follow button because it obviously helps us out as well. But for now, we'll see you in the next one.